All my life has led to this. In the kitchen with the drip.
You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
And now, the hunt for the perfect album.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the hunt for the perfect album with Billy and Dave. How are you, my friend?
I am very good. How are you, buddy?
Good. I'm good. I hope that you're as good as you think this album is. I guess we'll find out. Because this week it was my pick, and I'm giving you an album from a band that we've had on the show before. It is the latest release from the Australian band, the Smith Street Band. It is Once I Was Wild. Previously, I gave you their album Don't Waste Your Anger, which was not their most recent album. That was 2 albums ago, and you quite enjoyed that. So I'm hoping that you dug this as well. I guess we'll find out.
I remember that I enjoyed it. I actually don't remember the music of it at all, as it turns out, because this was not the style of music that I was expecting. And I think I said the same thing when we talked about Magnetic Fields. In my mind, every band you give me that I haven't heard of is Aussie twee pop, because most of them are. And the fact that we've now had a couple that aren't did throw me for a loop. So I came into this and it wasn't the sound that I was expecting. In my mind, this was another Lost and Lonesome band.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Much more alternative rock.
Yeah, this is sort of Aussie garagey kind of punk.
The last
sorta.
album I gave you, similar to this, I'd say the last album had a bit more of an emo edge to it than this one. This is the first album since lead songwriter Will Wagner has had a child, and I think that comes through. I think that there's an extra.
He's had quite an emotional roller coaster from what I read over the last few years.
Yeah,
with breakups and all sorts of public spats and getting dragged through the mud and all these sorts of things. And I don't know enough about it to really have a side of the fence that I'm on, but I certainly sympathise with anyone who's been through all of that. And I think there's a maturity in this album that, because I did go back and listen to a bit of the previous one you gave me, there is a maturity to this album that was not there in the previous one. And it kind of reminded me, and you get this almost across the board with artists who are sort of a little bit punk in their earlier years. Everyone grows up, and very few people can keep doing the 19, 20-year-old punk thing when you're mid to late 30s or whatever. So everyone matures, and it comes through. I really, really like this album. It's still got the kind of raw Aussie kind of pub. I wouldn't say punk anymore, but there's a raw, unpolished quality to it, but I think the songwriting, etc., is at a more mature level than the other album.
So this is it. All my life has led to this. In the kitchen with the drip. Holding someone else's drink. So this is me.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still some kind of
there's a rawness
that
to
comes
it,
through,
and
but not like their earlier stuff for sure. Yeah,
but where and I did only give it a cursory re-listen, but where the previous album that you gave me has attitude, this has anger. It's you can kind of sense that some shit's gone on, in his life that's coming through, whereas previously it was sort of more kind of not juvenile, but kind of attitude without substance a little bit.
Yep.
It's more a sort of a 19, 20-year-old with swagger attitude, whereas this is, I've had a rough few fucking years and I'm going to vent about them.
Yeah.
And we're going out and learn from the next couple hours, but it doesn't matter if this all goes south. I think about you when I walk in the bar, when I stumble out, your name's in the stars. I think about you when we close out the ramp, your voice going round and round in my head. Yell my own name into the ether, and hear yours echo back from the void.
I saw them live only about 3-4 weeks ago now.
Oh, cool.
And it was amazing. Sunday night gig. So they started at like 5. It was like an early gig. And they were so tired because they've just been touring non-stop since this album came out like in October last year. But they just put so much energy into it. It's just so good. Do you have a favorite track from this album?
I'm going to say yes, but it's mainly because it's one of the few that's kind of stands out in my memory, and I can sort of look down the track listing and go, yeah, that's that one. Most of the others are still at a point where I know that I liked all of them, and I know that there were a few that were kind of minor peaks in an otherwise very solid album. But track 6 is the only one that, in my memory, stands out because of some of the lyrics in it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Constellation. It's a great...
No, that's track 5, isn't it?
Oh, American Heaven.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, great call. This is one of my favorite tracks because it also has the brilliant refrain, "You can eat my dust, you boring cunts."
Yeah, that's why it stands out.
Cunts. I've let this run too long, but we got to hit a chorus.
Yeah, I was going to make this get to it otherwise.
So good. Love that track.
I think the other tracks that I liked most are Star Child, Constellation, and Teenage Daughter, but I wouldn't put money on that.
Yeah. I thought you would like Star Child. Star Child is one that I thought you would like for sure. In fact, I might leave that to play the show out. Let's listen to Teenage Daughter, because that's a very different track to a lot of the others. Obviously, it's the closing track, but it really slows things right down. As I said, this is the first album since he had a child, and this song is all about that.
Yeah.
Much more emotional in some ways.
Changing, I know I can change for you. All my life I'm rearranging sadness into something new. I can feel the dread dissolving, conversations, problem solving, and despair in my death wishes. When you cook up do the dishes. I'll avoid the pits and pratfalls. Be a good dad, watch the football. Sharp cold water breaks the habit. Does the kid know I'm an addict? One day I'll have a
Love that song. I really, really love it.
It's a great closer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I have to ask where are you on Will Wagner's voice? Because I love it personally. Noosk, while she likes plenty of the songwriting of the Smith Street Band, she can't listen to this band because she just dislikes his voice so much. It's so
Where is she on
heavily
Screamy Boy?
Australian. On what? Sorry.
Where is she on Screamy Man?
Oh,
Whatever that
she
band
won't.
was.
She won't listen to any of that stuff. No,
Atta
hell
girl.
no.
Yeah,
No.
that was terrible. No, what was that band?
Well,
With the one that I like the music, but I cannot listen to him because he's a scream singer.
yeah, that would be Not Half Bad.
Yes.
Folk punk band.
Fucking hated. Yeah, he ruined an otherwise great album. I don't mind his voice on the Smith Street Band. I don't mind his voice.
Yeah.
I probably prefer this kind of raw singing from an Aussie band than I do on, for example, you've had some sort of lo-fi DIY bands you've given me from other countries where I find it a lot more jarring. Whereas this, because I've seen so many Aussie pub bands over the years, it's a lot more familiar, and the kind of the accent and the voice don't stand out to me in a jarring way. The way, for example, if I didn't find a cuteness to them, listening to something like Martha, for example, I might find really distracting because it's so unpolished and it kind of. Whereas this is has a lot more familiarity, so it doesn't bother me as much, and I quite like his voice.
Yeah, nice.
We ditch the destination for our own situation. You have gravitational pull. You're not a star, you're a fucking constellation. These stupid clothes are hiding. These nonsense words I'm writing. Just other ways to disappear. When things get too exciting. When things get too exciting. When things get too exciting. Just other ways to disappear. Life's not symmetrical, it rhymes. Sleeping on the floor, some of my happiest times. Life's not symmetrical, it rhymes.
I love this track. It's probably
That is definitely one of the ones that I liked.
it's probably between this, Star Child, and American Heaven. I mean, I love every track on this album. That's why I gave it to you for the perfect album.
Well, there you go. So we're probably the same top three as each other. So there you go. That's good.
Yeah. I love the kind of variation on this album. I love that this song sounds... It's got kind of an 80s feel to it in some ways more than the rest of the album. And then you've got tracks like Once I Was Wild, which predominantly uses an acoustic guitar. And I really like the variation in the instrumentation. Are there any tracks that you do not like?
Not that I can recall. I don't remember any standing out as a negative. There was like a consistent, I like this, I like this, I like this. Because it's, I'm not fully familiar, I haven't listened to it 1,000 times or anything. There's a little bit of a sameness to some of the tracks, but not in a negative way. It's just, I like them all. I just can't pick and choose between them necessarily. But certainly, that middle run of Star Child, Constellation, and American Heavy were a big standout for me. It was very high in the middle, and then I liked, obviously, the closing track as well.
Yeah, nice. So this is now the second Smith Street Band album I've given you. And obviously, while you liked the first one, it didn't really make an impact. You forgot about it.
I think I like this album better, having had a little bit of a listen back to the previous one. I think, and I haven't got it in front of me, so I can't remember track names. I think if I had to pick my favourite song or couple of songs from the band, they may be off Don't Waste Your Anger.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think as an album, I think this is a better one.
Okay. So, this is now, it's either their 7th or their 8th studio album.
That's kind of wild.
Are you still not? I'm guessing that you're not wanting to dig into their discography. It hasn't sparked that in you.
Oh, I'm not going to go running out trying to look for everything, but I will go and listen to other albums on like Spotify or something.
Yeah.
Out of interest, because I think the songwriting is very strong, and I think this is certainly a super solid album.
Yeah.
In the winter, under street lights, crack the glass to let the smoke go. It can't hurt him if he don't know. Wrapped in blankets, rain is falling, feeling taller than a pretty tall building. Hands in pockets, going nowhere, just walking. Was an expat.
I love that line, feeling taller than a pretty tall building. It's just so Australian. And later on, there's a line, I was feeling so cool, like a cool song or a cool movie. It's just so fucking good. All right.
No, I do really like the songwriting. I don't think these guys are ever going to be for me in the same kind of echelon as I don't know, Rat Boys or the Beths or Charlie Bliss or something, where like I really like everything about them. But I don't really have anything bad to say about this album. I think it's a really, really solid album.
All right. How are you scoring it?
Probably a 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of the kind of just how solid an album, it's probably higher than that. But because stylistically it doesn't kind of resonate with me quite as much as, say, Magnetic Fields or Rat Boys or a lot of the other bands you've given me. On a personal level, probably around a 7.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, what are you giving me next week?
What am I giving you next week? I am giving you a blues album.
Okay.
I'm giving you a blues album.
What kind of blues are we talking? Like modern blues or?
Well, it's hard to answer. It's not an old album.
Okay.
It's the album's maybe 20 years old, if that. I'm giving you Jungle Blues by C.W. Stone King, who I know you've heard at least one song, because I had a song off his first album, Zombie, on my Halloween playlist. And I remember asking you to tell me when and where you thought the song came from, and you quite reasonably said 1920s Louisiana or whatever, and were quite surprised that it was someone about your age from the Catherine in the Northern Territory.
All right, okay. That sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to that. All right, nice. Cool. Well, thank you for joining.
I mean, whatever you think, like a 40-odd-year-old Australian blues singer from rural Northern Territory sounds like, that's probably not what it is.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you for joining us here on The Hunt for the Perfect Album. We'll catch you next week. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com or pottymouthradio@gmail.com. You can join the Facebook listener community, have a chat about music, movies, all that kind of stuff. Go and have a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/pottymouthradio.
Sure. Why not?
And we'll catch you next week. And I'm going to play us out with Star Child.
Brilliant.